Hey guys, welcome back to Matthew's Ballistics. Last night I did a little bit of testing out on some of the new tools I've got. I used the large primer pocket correction tool as well as the flash hole uniforming tool, and I was actually pretty surprised at what a difference it made just seating the primers, which most of the time I would just clean the primer pockets a little bit with kind of a pick, just scrape out the hard carbon and then seat new primers in there. Because I dry tumble all my brass, I don't wet tumble it. So the primer pockets on a lot of my brass sometimes end up being a little dirtier than most. So I kind of pick out the hard carbon and make sure the flash hole's clean. But with the primer pocket uniforming tool, I noticed a significant difference when I was actually seating the primers. Everything went in and felt better as I was running the press, the handle on the press. And then when I go back through and measure and feel the backs of all these cases, they actually feel like the primers are seated exactly the same, and they are like ever so slightly, like a hair's difference, just very slightly recessed into the primer pockets a little bit, just barely enough to feel. So maybe a hair's thickness, maybe two, but not much. But they all feel super great. So tonight, I've got 8 of these cases to do, and I've got some more of the 225 grain barns to run, and I'm going to go ahead and just run those in there. But before I get to that, I need to actually chamfer and deburr these cases, because I just I just trimmed them to the right spec, because some of them were way out of spec, some of them were pretty close to spec, but I just trimmed them all. So I need to chamfer and deburr them, and then I will get into bullet seating. Alright, so that was 8 cases. I chamfered them and deburred them, and basically all it does is it barely takes off all the little rough edges and cleans up the mouth of the case inside and out, and turns it into something that will accept a bullet fairly easily. So from that, get my scale down. Of course, I'm still running a Hardy G2 1500 scale, and this scale has worked great for me for the past 5 years, probably 4 or 5 years almost. So, and and I had other scales before that, but this one has stuck with me quite a bit, and it's been pretty reliable. So moving on from there, I need to get out my load book. Here it is. And we're going to go to the previous loading of the 225 grain barns. And it looks like we used 105.5 grains, and we got an average velocity of 3,194 feet per second, so 3,200 feet per second. It's running the OEL a little bit long, actually a little bit short, so they'll fit in the mag good, I believe, but I think the reason why I ran them at that OEL is because of the bullet profile itself. They're much more blunt in comparison than the 285 grain Hornadies or even the 300 grain Burgers, so I believe these will actually still run in the mag at that seating depth. So I'm going to get into powdering these, and then we'll get into bullet seeding. Let's get to it. Alright, so there we go, guys. I've loaded the 8 rounds of the Barnes 225 grain TSX. It's a solid copper hollow point projectile for hunting with. And it looks like I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 more that I can load. So, not very many of those left. Basically, I'm just loading up the brass that I had already prepped for this occasion. Now, I have a bunch more 338 brass I need to clean, and I've got some more 338 bullets that I'm not going to use anymore. Being I got some 300 grain Lapua, and I would like to continue testing with the 250 grain Alcos, but I don't know. I haven't really heard anything back from Bill in a couple of weeks, so, or maybe longer, about anything. So he was supposed to update me on whether or not some other people were having good luck with them. And with that being said, I've had no updates on that, and I'm still awaiting some other bullets. So from him to get back into the 454 Kasul long range project. So I'm gonna go ahead and switch back into some 6.5 Creedmoor now, and since I'm doing the primer pocket uniforming on the 338 Lapua, might as well do some of that on the 6.5 Creedmoor. But at this point, I have a whole bag full of 6.5 Creedmoor cases that I've previously processed. These are all Hornady. They've all been resized, trimmed, chamfered, deburred. They've all got primers in them. They're all just basically ready to load. So with those, I'm kind of doing the same thing that I'm doing with the 338 Lapuas. I'm getting rid of all the bullets that I don't really plan on using for long range. So with the 6.5 Creedmoor, I've got some 95 grain VMAX I'm going to throw in these, and I'm going to be using some IMR 4166 while I still have some. I'll use it until I run out of it, and then I'll go on to something a little different. So, yeah, as far as the channel goes, I've really been kind of thinking about changing the direction of the channel. Yes, I'm going to keep reloading, and I'm going to keep shooting and documenting everything. As far as that goes, no, this part's going to change, but what I'm thinking about doing is adding in some more outdoor parts to the channel, survival type stuff. It's not one of those things that I really hit on a lot, but I kind of feel the need to share some of the information that I have and the information that I'm learning and this and that, because we're living in a really uncertain times right now, and it may be a good thing to be able to share some good quality information, let you guys know in my experience what works and what doesn't work. So I'm thinking about changing the name, maybe shifting the focus just a little bit. Uh, Nothing too radical though. I'm still going to be pretty much loading and shooting every weekend, uh, but I am focusing on narrowing down the type of loading that I'm doing, because having like three different projectiles for each rifle and having three different rifles, or or five different rifles or whatever, maybe five different projectiles for five different rifles. I mean, you when you start thinking about it, and then all the different kinds of powder too, and with handguns and everything in there reloading, you're talking about tons and tons of information, tons and tons of variables to keep track of. And then at the end of the day, when it comes down to if I need a bullet to go down range, maybe not efficiently, maybe not accurately, but if I need it to go down range, um, there are some sacrifices that I can make, and I'm gonna kind of get into where I only load one type of projectile for one cartridge, one caliber, and then weed out all the other stuff that it's kind of, not gimmicky, but just kind of unnecessary. So that's the reason why I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna load these with the 95 grain VMAX for the 6.5 Creedmoor, which is a great bullet for hunting with. It's a great varmint round, and actually, being 95 grains, I'm able to push it above like 3,200, 3,300 feet per second out of a 26-inch barrel. That 95 grain bullet is way more than enough to hunt and take down just about any animal. But being a VMAX, it has that component of uh, basically expanding and detonating at a very shallow depth. So as far as really hard targets, like hard game, like if I was gonna bear hunt, would not be a good or a good bullet choice. Cartridge is fine. I would just have to change the type of bullet I'm using. So the 95 grain VMAX, this will be a deer hunting round for sure. Definitely deer. Anything up to 250 pounds will be easy to take with that bullet. So I'm gonna get into this. Not a lot going on tonight. I hope you guys enjoyed watching, and I hope you guys stick with me. We've got a lot coming up as far as long range goes. Of course, we're really not gonna. We've already decided, me and a buddy of mine that are doing the long range stuff, is we've decided, even though yeah, it's public land out in national forest. We've decided that during hunting season we're not going to go out there and shoot a bunch, or shoot really at all, because we don't want to disturb anybody hunting out there, because it's like a respect type thing. I know if I was out there hunting, I would want somebody just blasting off rounds, especially at a really high powered rifles like a 338 or a 300 PRC or 301 mag or whatever. Um, wouldn't want them out there disturbing the game just because they want to go shoot their guns. So I'm not going to be that person. We're not going to be those types of people. We're not going to go out there and disturb the hunters while they're hunting. So it's going to be after hunting season before we actually get out there, and it's probably going to be pretty cold out at that point. So it'll be interesting because we'll actually get to test our skill as far as temperature compensation on our ammunition. Um, that is something that you can read a lot about, but you really don't know what's going to happen until you get out there, until you make your own dope chart for it. Your own data upon previous engagement. Your own dope chart. So yeah, hope you guys stuck with me, and hope you guys like the content that I've been bringing. I know it's a little more technical lately, and I've got some other stuff up on the Facebook page too. I've made a couple posts recently that you guys may want to check out when it comes to cartridge selection and also rifle selection, depending on your goal and what you're trying to do. So you may want to go check out my Facebook page, Matthews Ballistics, for that. Um, Let me know what you think. Please like, share, subscribe, do all that normal stuff. And we'll see you next time in the next video. Thanks for watching.